Your mind wasn't meant to be a prison. Somewhere along the way, it became a storage room for thoughts you never chose to keep. Worries about things that haven't happened yet. Fears borrowed from people who were scared themselves. Voices replaying conversations from years ago that no longer matter. And the worst part? Most people think this is just normal. That mental chaos is the price of being human. But watch a child for 5 minutes. They're completely present, totally absorbed in what's in front of them. They're not stuck in yesterday or anxious about tomorrow. They're just here. What changed between childhood and now? Life got noisy, the world got faster, and nobody taught us how to filter the mental clutter. The ancient Stoics understood something powerful about the human mind. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Our life is what our thoughts make it, not our circumstances, not what happens to us. Our thoughts, which means if the thoughts are toxic, life feels toxic. If the thoughts are clear, life becomes clearer." This isn't about pretending problems don't exist. It's about recognizing that most suffering happens in the mind, not in reality. The event happens once, but the mind replays it 100 times, making it worse each time. In this video, we're breaking down 10 Stoic principles that actually work to eliminate negative thoughts and reclaim your mental peace. Not theory, not philosophy you can't use. Practical tools that the Stoics used to stay calm in chaos, focused in confusion, and clear when everyone else was spiraling. If you're tired of feeling trapped in your own head, stay with me. These principles changed how emperors, warriors, and philosophers lived. They can change how you think too. The first principle: thoughts are not facts. Here's where most people get confused. They think negative thoughts appearing in their mind means something is wrong with them. But the human brain produces thousands of thoughts per day. Most of them are complete nonsense. Random mental static that means absolutely nothing. The problem isn't having negative thoughts. The problem is believing them. When a thought appears and you immediately treat it as truth, that's when it becomes toxic. That's when it starts controlling you. Epictetus taught something radical. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters, and that includes thoughts. A thought appears, that's just what minds do. But your reaction to it? That's where your power lives. Think of thoughts like clouds passing through the sky. Some are dark, some are light, but they all pass. They only stick around when you grab onto them and hold tight. So when a negative thought shows up, instead of immediately believing it, pause. Ask yourself, is this actually true? Or is this just fear talking? Is there evidence for this? Or is this an old pattern? That pause between thought and belief is where freedom lives. The second principle: attention is everything. Your mind has a spotlight. Right now, it's pointed at something. Whatever that spotlight touches becomes your entire reality for that moment. And here's what changes everything. You can move that spotlight intentionally. Most people let their attention wander randomly, landing on worries, regrets, comparisons, judgments. But attention is a choice. And whatever gets your attention grows stronger. Toxic thoughts thrive when attention keeps feeding them. That embarrassing moment from years ago only has power because you keep replaying it. That worry about next month only grows bigger because you keep focusing on it. But here's the flip side. Focus on what's good and more good becomes visible. Not because reality changed, but because perception shifted. Seneca wrote, "The mind that is anxious about future events is miserable." He wasn't saying don't plan. He was saying don't waste attention on disasters that haven't happened and probably never will. So when your mind starts spiraling, redirect attention to what's actually happening right now. Notice 5 things around you. Feel your breath. Bring yourself back to the present, because negative thoughts can't survive in the present moment. The third principle: movement breaks mental loops. Your body and mind aren't separate. They're connected in ways most people ignore. When your body is stuck, your mind gets stuck. When your body moves, your mind shifts too. Ever notice how negative thoughts get louder when you're sitting still? Late at night in bed, and suddenly your mind becomes a courtroom prosecuting every mistake. But take a walk, and thoughts start flowing differently. They're less sticky, less intense. This isn't coincidence. It's biology. Movement changes brain chemistry. It releases tension stored in muscles. It interrupts the feedback loops, keeping negative thoughts circling. The ancient Stoics knew this. They didn't just sit around thinking. They walked. They trained physically. They understood that philosophy without physical practice was just theory. So when anxiety builds, when thoughts race, when your mind feels like it's exploding, move. Stand up, stretch. Walk outside for 2 minutes. Shake out your arms. Anything that gets your body out of its frozen state. Because the body sends signals to the brain. We're moving. We're not in danger. We can calm down now. It's like hitting reset on your nervous system. The fourth principle: guard what enters your mind. Your mind absorbs everything it's exposed to. Wake up and scroll through disaster news, comparison feeds, and angry opinions from strangers. Then wonder why you feel anxious and scattered. It's not a mystery. It's input and output. Feed your mind poison. Get poisoned thoughts. Feed it chaos. Get chaotic thinking. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The things you think about determine the quality of your mind. Your soul takes on the color of your thoughts." Most people let anything walk through the front door of their mind. But the Stoics were ruthless about protecting their mental space. They understood that what enters shapes what becomes. So what does this look like practically? Maybe it means not checking your phone first thing in the morning, starting the day with silence or movement instead of downloading everyone else's chaos. Maybe it means unfollowing accounts that spark envy or insecurity. Maybe it means limiting news consumption. Staying informed is one thing. Refreshing feeds about every terrible thing everywhere is another. Maybe it means being selective with conversations. Some people drain you. They complain endlessly and pull you into their negativity. While compassion matters, there's a difference between supporting someone and becoming their emotional dumping ground. Protect what you consume. Your mental health depends on it. The fifth principle: close open loops. Your mind keeps invisible lists of unfinished business. Things left unsaid. Decisions not made. Conflicts unresolved. Projects half done. And every item on those lists takes up mental energy. It's like running a computer with too many programs open at once. Everything slows down, gets foggy, feels overwhelming. Negative thoughts love open loops. They feed on them. That conversation that ended badly months ago. Your mind keeps replaying it, trying different outcomes, creating versions of what should have been said. That decision you keep postponing. Your mind keeps circling back, creating anxiety about choosing wrong. Epictetus taught about distinguishing what's in your control and what isn't, then actually following through on what you can control, not just thinking about it, acting on it, completing the loop. So make the invisible visible. Write down everything creating mental noise, every unfinished task, every unmade decision, every unresolved situation. Then take action. That difficult conversation you've been avoiding. Schedule it. Have it. Close the loop. That project half finished for months. Commit to finishing it or consciously abandon it and stop feeling guilty. Both options close the loop. Leaving it in perpetual Sunday drains energy without creating anything. Each completed loop frees up mental space. The mind craves completion. Give it that closure, and negative thoughts lose their grip. The sixth principle: question the story you're telling. Every person has a narrator in their head telling stories about what everything means. What that look meant. What that situation says about the future. What that mistake reveals about your character. And here's the thing. That narrator is making most of it up. Someone doesn't text back, and the story becomes, they're upset, they don't care. This relationship is falling apart. Reality, maybe their phone died, maybe they're busy, but the story has already been written and believed. A project doesn't go perfectly, and the story becomes, this proves you're not good enough. Everyone will see you failed. Reality, it's one project, one moment in thousands. But the story expands it into an identity. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. Everything we see is a perspective, not the truth." The mind doesn't experience reality directly. It experiences its interpretation of reality. And if the stories being told are negative, catastrophic, always assuming the worst. Life becomes toxic, not because reality is toxic, but because the story about reality is toxic. So catch the stories you're telling. When a negative thought appears, write down the story it's telling. Then write down just the facts. What actually happened without interpretation? The gap is usually massive. Story: I'm a complete failure. Facts: one project didn't meet expectations. Story: nobody cares about me. Facts: 3 people didn't respond to messages today. See the difference? The story is dramatic and absolute. The facts are specific and manageable. When you shift from story to facts, the emotional intensity drops because the narrative feeding it has been challenged. The 7th principle: clear your physical space. Your environment affects your mind constantly. Walk into a cluttered, messy room and notice what happens internally. Your mind mirrors it. Feels scattered, overwhelmed, unfocused. Walk into a clean, clear space and your mind settles. Breathing deepens. Focus sharpens. This isn't mystical. It's practical. The mind is constantly processing the environment. And when the environment is chaotic, the mind expends energy managing sensory overload. The Stoics lived simply because they understood that excess creates distraction. Seneca wrote about how possessions end up possessing their owners. When physical space is cluttered, the mind is too. Every pile, every surface covered with stuff creates tiny mental pools. This needs organizing. That's been sitting there for weeks. Those pools add up, creating constant low-level stress. So clearing physical space removes decision fatigue. In a cluttered environment, your brain is constantly making micro-decisions. Clear the space, and those decisions disappear. The mind has fewer inputs to process. It's like closing 20 browser tabs at once. Suddenly everything runs smoother. Start small. One drawer, one corner, one surface. Clear it completely. Then notice how that cleared space affects your mind. There's satisfaction, a sense of accomplishment, visual proof that order is possible. For spaces you use daily, keep them minimal. Only what's needed. Everything else is visual noise competing for mental attention. Clear space creates clear mind. The 8th principle: stop resisting what you're feeling. Here's a paradox most people miss. The harder you fight a negative thought, the stronger it becomes. Push it away, and it pushes back harder. Try to suppress it, and it shows up louder. It's like holding a beach ball underwater. Takes constant effort, and the moment you relax, it explodes back to the surface. Fighting a thought keeps attention locked on it, and attention is food. Whatever gets attention grows, so fighting negative thoughts actually feeds them. Carl Jung said, "What you resist persists." The Stoics didn't teach suppression. They taught acceptance of what is combined with wise action toward what could be. Accept the thought exists. Don't give it power through resistance. Then choose a different direction. When a negative thought appears, instead of fighting it, get curious about it. Where did that come from? What triggered it? Curiosity dissolves resistance. You can't be at war with something while genuinely curious about it. Often underneath negative thoughts are legitimate concerns trying to get attention. The anxious thought about the future might be pointing to something that needs planning. Address that practical need, and the thought quiets. See the thought clearly without resistance, and it naturally loses intensity. The 9th principle: train your mind daily. Everyone wants the breakthrough moment, the one experience that changes everything forever. But lasting change doesn't come from intensity. It comes from consistency. Small actions repeated daily over weeks, months, years. Someone can have a profound insight while watching this video, feel completely transformed, ready to take on the world. Then 2 days later, back to the same patterns. Because one moment of clarity doesn't reprogram years of conditioning. The Stoics knew this. They didn't study philosophy once and call it done. They practiced daily. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his journal every single day, redirecting his mind toward wisdom. Epictetus taught through constant repetition. Knowing that understanding something once doesn't mean it's integrated. Mental clarity is built through consistent practice. Choose 1 or 2 practices from this video and do them daily. Not perfectly, just consistently. Maybe it's taking 2 minutes every morning to notice and release negative thoughts. Every morning, even when it feels unnecessary. Maybe it's the evening practice of closing one open loop before sleep. Maybe it's pausing to label negative thoughts instead of believing them. These practices seem small, but that's why they work. They're sustainable. 1 day of practice is barely noticeable. 30 days, there's a shift. 90 days, your mind operates differently. A year, it's a completely different mental landscape. The 10th principle, decide that this matters. There are countless techniques for clearing your mind, but none of them matter without one thing: the decision that this matters enough to actually do something about it. Not just wanting a clear mind, not just wishing negative thoughts would disappear, but deciding that mental clarity is worth protecting, worth practicing, worth prioritizing even when it's inconvenient. The mind will stay cluttered as long as clutter is tolerated. Negative thoughts will keep running the show as long as they're given the stage. But the moment there's a genuine decision, everything shifts. Right now you have a choice. Close this video, feel momentarily inspired, then fall back into the same mental patterns. Or take one thing and implement it today, not tomorrow. Today. Maybe it's noticing one negative thought and choosing not to believe it. Maybe it's clearing one physical space. Maybe it's finally closing one open loop. Just one action that proves to your mind things are different now. The ancient Stoics didn't just think about wisdom, they lived it. Marcus Aurelius wrote his meditations as daily reminders to himself about who he wanted to be. He knew without constant practice, the mind drifts back to old patterns. This isn't about consuming more information. It's about applying what's been shared, taking ownership of your mental space, and refusing to let it become a dumping ground for every fear, every worry, every toxic pattern. The mind clears when the choice is made, and it stays clear when that choice is reinforced through daily action. Not perfect action, just consistent, intentional effort to create something better. If this resonated, hit that like button and subscribe for more Stoic wisdom that actually works. Drop a comment sharing which principle hit hardest. Share this with someone trapped in their own mind. A clear mind is possible. A peaceful life is possible. And it starts with one choice followed by one action repeated until it becomes your new normal. Your mind is yours to command.